again, it's Randy, your sewing machine man. We're looking at a Kenmore 158. This is going to be part 2 of oiling your Kenmore 158 series. We did the left-hand side, shuttle, take-up assembly, needle bar, and all that. Now we're going to do the top and the bottom. Hopefully part 2 will be top and bottom. You have the main shaft that runs across the top. You want to put oil on each end where it goes through the bearing one side and then over on, let's get over here where you can see it over here, on the other side where it comes out of the casting right there. The oil going there, you can oil that generously. And to the left of that you see an oil hole there. Put oil in that. Get out of the light here so it doesn't blur it out. Put it there. Put it on each side of there. And then down inside here, just to the left of that and underneath about an inch or so, is going to be your reverse mechanism. And those will hang up and they need to be oiled for sure. You can see it moving down there. See if we can get it to see it moving. Let's get some light on it. Get it in the camera angle and get it lit up. See it moving down there. Right there is where it's going to be. Right in my oiler, right there. You oil that on both sides, and then the slide. So it'll slide in there. That thing will hang up, and your machine will sew backwards. You're like, what the heck? Sewing backwards. That's hung up. You have to oil it. Sometimes you can put some spray loose on it. Some penetrating oil. To the left of that is your main mechanism if you have an automatic like this one is. This one came in locked up like it was welded up, or you couldn't get this knob to turn at all. Now it turns effortlessly. You have to be patient with these. You can't force them. Sometimes you have to take the penetrating oil. Get it any supply store, AutoZone, anything. Super penetrant. Put your little red tube on it because you don't want it going everywhere. You want to put it on the spot. So I put it right on here, just enough to soak that down. And sometimes you have to soak it and let it sit for quite a while before it soaks down in, because that was frozen up there. It would not move. And with a Kenmore, all this stuff is very precision, very spring loaded. You don't want to force the dial. You don't want to break it. You don't want to pry anything. You don't want to get your screwdriver and turn a single screw. You just oil it and be very patient with it, and coax it, tap it with something plastic. And if you have to encourage it a little bit, don't be beating and banging on it. Oh boy, somebody's putting a picture up here on YouTube. Can I submit a picture? Sure, go ahead. That's part of the fun. You don't edit this stuff out. We go with one take and we're done with it. So anything that moves, anything that hinges, anything that rotates, give it a drop. If it's reluctant to cooperate, give it some spray loose. Okay, that takes from there to there up in the top. A lot of times you'll pop your top off. Sometimes there's a screw on either side. If it's a pop off like this one, you just lift it right off. It's a lift off. Sometimes it has a screw on either side. You take those off. And the bobbin winder is quite often right over here, and that needs to be oiled. This one's dry as a bone. Put a drop of oil right at the bottom where the turning stops. Bobbin winder shaft will turn right where it goes into the housing. There'll be a little notch there. You put a little drop in there. You don't want to put too much because it's centrifugal force. It'll sling all over the place, and it runs on friction. A little rubber wheel runs on friction. You can't get it wet with oil or it'll slip. Got to be very careful with that. Now, down on the bottom, real quick down here before we go over to the right-hand side, you have your drop feed. Drop feed's right here. You have a main bottom shaft. Let's take a look at the main bottom shaft on the left side. It rotates. Where it doesn't rotate, or they rub together, you put the oil. Here's your feed fork. Put some on there. Left side here. Right side there where it pivots. You see the oil hole there. Very easy to spot the oil hole. Back here. Anything that rotates. The other side of your main shaft. here. You can have an oil hole right here. It's a little oil pivot. Anything that rotates or pivots, you give it a drop. Down here you can't over oil. Your gears are over in here. You don't need to oil those. Those are usually packed with gear. They're steel, and you can live 10 lifetimes and never have to fool with around in there. Your motor, I would say don't oil it. People always oil it improperly. We'll do the belts and all the idle over here in part 3, but for now that's going to be part 2. Very sparingly, make sure it's got oil on it. Look for your little oil holes. Don't drown it with oil. If you're using something like this, you're going to drown it. If you're using something like this, it comes out of like a fire hose. You know, have yourself a nice needle oiler. Get these on Amazon. Get them with oil, without oil. Sometimes with oil they'll show the oil's leaked all over the place, made a mess. But if you get it without oil, just add the oil to it. And that's the stuff you get at Joann Fabrics or any place, Walmart. Just Alpha-Sol has them. It's a real light mineral oil, highly refined. It's almost like water. It really gets into the crevices, so it doesn't take a whole lot. But drop feed, everything that moves, your feeders, any kind of a connection, anything that rotates or slides, give it a drop. Okay, that's going to take care of oiling your Kenmore 158 part 2.